Hang on.
And Susan?
Go ahead, Tim. Introduce the show, please.
Oh, yeah. Hi. Well, hello. This is Tim Terosian with the Blue Collar Crypto Show. And with us today is Neil Weber. And we alternatively, it's a new word. Sometimes we talk about crypto and sometimes we talk about blue collar world. And sometimes those worlds intersect, but they're both relevant, and then they're both being refreshed. And today we're gonna talk about more of the political scene and maybe how that intersects with our economy, and maybe that will intersect with our blue collar crypto, the money in our pocket. How's that? All right. But we're going to start with Neil. Neil, what do you say? What do you say, Neil?
Well, I would say we should start with the fact that we have a philosophy of government, which is, unfortunately, is driven by a very ill man named Donald Trump. And I think what we need to do is we need to, I'm very open right now in my life. I'm discerning about how to spend my time outside of, my current job, which is 20 hours a week. And I really think that there needs to be involved citizenship action. And I think we need to get involved because I think right now the citizen has, is unfortunately not engaged. I think we need to engage each other in citizenship and really take on the role. When I was growing up, we were involved in citizenship. We had a citizenship merit badge by the Boy Scouts, and that involved doing service. I remember doing service by visiting older people at the nursing homes and playing checkers with them. I remember planting a tree in honor of for the city and doing that. So there was active civic engagement. I think in today's entertainment-driven world, where mass media seems to rule our minds, and the average person watches 5 to 8 hours of TV per day, I think that's been lost. And I think that small band of people who are willing, able, and able need to engage themselves, engage each other, and become more involved in government. Because the way the system is designed, it's designed for the average person to be involved and be not only voting once every 4 years or every 2 years, but be involved at the local level and being engaged in helping to draft candidates for office, helping to draft bills and get involved with local politics and help to shape our future by being engaged at the local level. I think a lot can be done at the local level. I volunteered for 4 years at an organization called the Grand Avenue Club, and I was able to do much good there. Unfortunately, that organization offers a philosophy of entitlement, which is reinforced by the disability system, which I've talked about in the past, which is the belief that the individual cannot take care of themselves, but must rely on government, and does not engage the individual in any constructive work, but allows the individual to languish and you could say fester. And I believe that we are all sleeping giants, and we all need to engage ourselves and awaken and engage ourselves and our neighbor with productive work.
Yeah, I mean, if we engage ourselves within the tax system, we can hire people, we can become wealthy, we can do landscaping. We can have a roofing company, and the government's our silent partner. They take taxes from us, and we can make our own destinies. And it's a good system. I like the system. I like the way things are. And I think most Americans would say, if you really put them to it, if you really had to put brass tacks to it, most Americans would say, we like going to work. We like paying taxes. We like Social Security. We like all these Democrats. Can I say Democrats? We're nonpartisan, but we're Democrats, so we're still nonpartisan, right? I mean, we're still Americans first.
It's a democratic government, so it's a democratic republic. So that means that we vote and we get engaged at a civic level, but we also are a republic, so we are one body.
And most Americans agree on most of the fundamental things. I mean, I think when we elected Donald Trump, we were saying things are great the way they are. Don't change them. And he's in there and he's doing what he said he was going to do. And Americans aren't going to go for that. They elected a man to change. Yeah. They like the way things are. They still elected Donald Trump because I don't know why, but he says he was going to change some things. Maybe they voted for him. They just don't really want any change. Americans are not, they're complacent, I'd say. And those Americans that like the way things are, those are the people that voted for Donald Trump. The status quo.
I think
those voters.
He was a candidate for change. He believed in shaking things up. He said everything he was going to do on the campaign trail. Unfortunately, people forgot how ill he was from 16 to 20 and how disordered he was. And I think in the 4 years that the Biden administration was in charge, people forgot who he was as a person. And he is very good at speaking to people's woundedness and talking in platitudes. He was at the State of the Union address. He was praising the heroes and praising people, and he's very good at that. He says he's not a politician, but he's the ultimate politician. He really believes in that. And what he wants, his only goal in life was power. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. So what I believe his goal was to be president. He didn't have a vision for America like Ronald Reagan did, or Jimmy Carter did, or H.W. Bush did, or even George W. Bush did. His only goal was power and the for satisfy his own needs.
Yeah, and I'm like a lot of Americans and a lot of Democrats. We're worried that the Republicans are being more popular day by day. They're taking over state and local races. And we're afraid of that. We like the Democrat candidates of the Democrat Party. And we don't want the Republicans to take over every election in every county in the country and every state in the country. And we want the Democrats to win. And, we believe we have a message. And I'm waiting for the next. Yeah, go ahead.
Unfortunately, what Donald Trump was able to do, starting after Obama, he was able to reshape the Republican Party to be a party of limited government and lower taxes, to be simply a party of the cult of Donald J. Trump.
Well, I have a lot of faith in the American people, and I would really be disappointed if all these bad things happen. The things that you and I say are happening.
Yes,
but I have the faith that Americans are smart, and that they'll not necessarily vote against Donald Trump, but vote for the Democrat next time. We put up somebody that's appealing to run for president, and they vote for that person. I don't think we've made any mistakes. I'm not going to walk around going, well, the Democrats screwed it up again. I'm not one of those Democrats. And I'm not going to start talking like a Republican, using all those Republican talking points. I hear Democrats saying things like, well, the Democrats are the party of the elite. And, when did that happen? That's never happened. Oh, the Democrats tax too much. When did that happen? This is not the tax party. These are all Republican things that Republicans say. And when I hear Democrats talking like that, I just go, well, why are you talking like Donald J. Trump? The Democrats have a lot to be proud of. Mm-hmm. Have always come through with an amazing program to take care of the problem at hand. So we should just stand up and be proud I mean, if you're a Democrat, that's what I suggest, and quit kicking your own party. Quit mimicking the Republican talking points. We're not soft on crime. We're not the tax party. These are all Republican talking points. Like they know what's going on. So, and but to kind of broaden the discussion, if we can, I mean, what do we say? We need to solve the problems of today. And we can't pretend that we don't have any either.
Correct.
I guess even in the countryside, the small cities, the small towns, the Democrats have done a wonderful job there.
Yes.
So I'm like, why are we trying to prove the Republicans right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, why are we trying to prove their points?
Correct.
We're no more elitist than the Republicans, and we represent the average American.
Correct.
And we've proved this. I could just go on with the litany of all these programs that Democrats have championed.
Correct.
Social Security, food stamps. Where does it end? The money during the pandemic gave a boost to our economy.
Correct.
Donald Trump inherited a wonderful economy. Yeah.
Correct. He did
Go ahead.
in 2016 because of Barack Obama. A lot of people give credit to Donald J. Trump for what happened, the prosperity we had from 16 to 20. But generally speaking, the prosperity that occurs from the previous president, not from the president in office. It takes time for the economy to change according to the philosophy of the government.
Yeah. I mean, don't give Donald Trump so much credit. I'm not talking about you, but out there, people. I'm telling the people, don't give him all this credit. He didn't actually design all this stuff. He was just, like you just said, Neil, he was kind of the inherited great economies both times. And
Correct.
stop praising Donald Trump. I mean, he's just an average human being that decided that he wanted to be president, and as his American right to be to run for president. And he's popular. So we can't fight popularity. We have to be Democrats.
Right.
And Donald, and hopefully he screws up.
Well, he has. He is screwing up right now. He's cutting spending, and he's affecting people's lives, and he's endangering job security for millions of Americans, and that's very wrong. What he's doing is he's even cutting Medicaid, which affects the poorest of the poor in America, and doing that to allow tax breaks for the rich.
I mean, I'm on Medicaid.
Correct. And I am as well.
And it wasn't something that I dreamed that I would be on. But it's called Badger Care in Wisconsin, and I get health care from that. It's been difficult. It's because the health care is so important. I had cancer, and I decided the most valuable thing in my portfolio was my Badger Care.
Correct.
So it keeps you under a microscope. It doesn't allow you to earn more than so much per month, or you get cut off.
Correct.
So every year. So it's not the wonderful program that Republicans think it is, that we're all living off the government. I think that's an exaggeration. And so, yeah. But what can you say? Quit making, to the Democrats, quit talking like Republicans. To the Republicans, just screw up for me. Mess up a little bit here.
Sure.
show us who you really are, because you're not being forthright. You know, you're not who you say you are. You say you're for small government, and that's not true. You know,
No,
I don't think.
they are. No. Donald Trump, between 2016 and 2020, he increased Social Security, he increased the size of the federal government by $7 trillion. So he is certainly a proponent of big government. Now he's cutting everything because he wants to give tax cuts to the rich. So he's attracted to powerful men like Elon Musk, like Putin, and he wants to be a dictator. He wants to have success. Let's bring it down to the local level, though. Do you have any dreams at this point? You're 60, I'm 61. Have you still have any dreams left for your life? Do you have any dreams that you want to achieve certain things before you pass? Do you have a bucket list or an overall vision for your life?
Yeah, but I'm afraid I'm losing time, and I do have dreams, and I do have a 10-year plan for myself between my age of 60 now and age of 70. I do have a lot of goals. And I think we should all be retired at a certain age, but I don't think it's the same as retirement of the past. I think there's plenty to look forward to at age 60. And if I get my Social Security, that's gonna, I don't know if I'll be able to make a lot of money after that. You know,
Sure.
they just $870 for all those that are listening is every month is what I'll be getting. And you can find that out from the Social Security Administration, whoever you are, and find out if you're entitled and how much Social Security. At 62, I'll be getting that. And so what about you? I mean, what are your thoughts?
I have dreams, and I'm just starting to write them out. I'm really in a point of, I was going to set a vision for my life that would end at my death. But then I realized that is trying to be overly controlling in my life, because I'll never know how long I'll live. So now I want to set a vision that lays out my life in day-to-day terms. I have 5 goals. I have a spiritual goal of praying twice a day and currently volunteering at a local nonprofit and weekly mass. So those are my spiritual goals. Physical goals are taking care of my temple by eating 3 well-balanced nutrition meals per day, walking 40 minutes every other day, and taking care of my apartment by keeping it tidy and neat and orderly and clean every week. Intellectual goals of reading 30 minutes a day and doing 1 brain puzzle per week. And emotional goals by making 3 phone calls a day and watching a humorous program 30 minutes a day. And then financial goals of making a certain amount of money, which I haven't determined yet how much I'll make, because I've got to pray about that. But and I haven't decided what kind of work I'd like to do. But I used to be in sales, but I've determined sales isn't right for me. It requires talent. It requires certain attitudes I don't have. And it hurts that certain stresses that I don't think I can do at this time. So I think some kind of either people work or writing, some kind of work which engages my talents. And then and other financial goals would be, or duties would be, writing out my expenses daily and keeping my checkbook balanced on a daily basis, and a weekly basis doing, and then monthly would be keeping my budget in place. So I have specific goals. What I want to do is set an overall. I was talking with 2 workers at Pickens Haven, and I like to engage people at Metro Market. I'm sorry, and I like to engage people who are service workers because they have very difficult jobs. The average person treats service workers very poorly, and I try to be very friendly to them. I call them my name, I ask how they am, and etc. And yesterday I took a bolder step, and I asked JJ or JC, I think her name was. I said, "What is your dream?" She said, "Oh, I'd like to help children." And I said, "Oh, make children's lives better." I said, "Oh, do you want to have children?" She said, "Oh, no. I want to be an art therapist." So she's going to school for that. And then I asked the bagger, that was a cashier. I asked the bagger what his dream was, and he said he wants to open a business and give back. And I said, well, are you willing to? Do you go to church? He says, oh, I think about it sometimes. And I says, why don't you consider joining a church and giving $5 out of every 100 your church and $5 to a local charity? Because that's what I do. So I try to only do what I say I'm doing already. I have trouble with that with my daughters. I like to talk about things I'm not actually doing. Like, I want to join the Knights of Columbus, but there's a cost there. The reason I like to join the Knights of Columbus, they meet once a month, and they are a service organization, and their values are fraternity, patriotism. Let me look it up. Hang on a second. I can't get there from here because I'm on the phone. But yeah, they have four core values, and so I want to join them because what they do, which I value, is they give money towards pregnancy health centers, and they buy ultrasound machines so that the pregnancy health centers can detect if there's a child present, and thus they're saving the lives of the mother. I spent many hours on the streets of Milwaukee praying for the unborn children. Now I'd like to get active and give money and time and talent. One way I may do that is volunteering at a local pregnancy health center in some way. So I'd like to go from being outside the street to being inside doing active work, being more direct service to the mothers and fathers. And I'd really like to help the fathers because all the attention is directed at the mothers. I like to help the fathers as well. They have needs as well.
Yeah, I like the last point. You made so many, but the last one was great, too, and help the fathers, and then it seems like the younger people, sometimes they're young and they're like, well, this is our world, or you're older, it seems like there's some, I feel young inside, Neil. I don't know about you. We're both young-minded.
Yeah, I agree.
I think.
So let's hang out with the young people. Let's find young people we can hang out with. I got 2 daughters. Do you have any children?
I have a stepdaughter. I have 2 stepdaughters.
So
and they make me very proud. I'm so happy. They have dummy boyfriends, but you can't pick their boyfriends for them. They get to do that themselves.
Correct.
And so so I try and mind my own business. And and my opinions, they're my opinions, but that doesn't mean anybody else wants to hear them. They're just I keep them. If somebody asks me, I'll probably give it to them. But, so yeah, I mean, I would say I like the world we live in. I have lots of goals. I don't feel any differently over the years. I'm not retiring in any really sense of the word retiring.
What do you plan to do with your time?
I think what I'm trying to do is live every day, so it's meaningful. And
how are you going to actualize that? How will you know?
How am I going to? Yeah. How about making?
How is somebody else going to know when they look at Tim's life that he's living a meaningful life?
I think I don't know, and I don't care. And hey. The freedom to not care, right? The freedom to not feel that you have to instruct everybody on what's good for them, but then you are so honored if somebody asks you your opinion or for help. The freedom to help where you think, my goodness, it's a family member that could really use some guidance, to step in, And so I would say I'm enjoying my life better than I've ever have in my previous life here. At 60, I'm this is the best there is, and I've done the hard work, and I can't compare myself to everybody's plot.
Right.
Yeah, because and I'm trying to keep in touch with family and friends because they go away, And young
Sure.
people, do they know this? Right? We're not here forever, so let's appreciate those that are in our life. Now, today. let's keep in contact with relatives. We don't have to be. You don't have to call them up and say, "Hey, I'm your long lost cousin, and I'd like to start a relationship, and we should get closer." No, I mean, a lot of people don't like that, but you can call them up and say, "Hey, I've been thinking about you, and tell me about your life." Right? Once a year, it doesn't hurt. So that's my nutshell.
Sure.
I'm more confident at 60 than I've ever been. And
Good.
I'm going to
That's
make
good
a
to
lot
hear.
of money. I'm going to make a lot of money. So I haven't lost any enthusiasm.
Good.
Yeah. And so, and that should reflect on this show. And and Neil, when you're here, you reflect that too. I think
Sure.
we're very, I wouldn't say we're outspoken. We're very for real, rational-minded Midwesterners.
Yes.
We're enjoy. If you talk to somebody from Seattle, you're going to hear them talk differently. They think different. Same thing. New York, it might be a different camber. You'll hear them. They're different expressions, different outlooks. It seems like there's differences in different regions of our country.
Sure.
But I like the way I like the flavor of our show,
Sure.
But yeah, we're talking about Donald Trump today, and we're concerned. But maybe there'll be a new president. And
well, my hope is, actually, I'm surprising I would say this because I've always been a single issue candidate, pro-life, but now I've changed my thinking to be more broad-minded and look at all the issues, and I need to study all the issues. So I really think that either pro-life Republicans who have a different view of government than Donald Trump does, or Democrats who are pro-life, which are rare, and so maybe you have to do some compromise, because what has to happen is we have to work at the local level and ensure protection for unborn children, but also accept at the government level that we may not be able to enact that. So we may have to do some compromising. I think the art of compromise is good government, and I think that does exist.
Christian, I'm not interrupting you. The art of compromise is if we can't remember our civic duty and we can't remember everything, how our government is set up, we should at least remember that the art of compromise is what makes this country great.
Yep.
And we may have we may think differently, but if we agree on a certain number of things, and we can agree to pass laws that benefit the greater good, I guess.
Correct, and that's not being done right now, and it's very unfortunate that Donald Trump has co-opted the Republican Party, and unfortunately, he'll be done in 4 years. And I hope that the Ukraine war doesn't widen. I hope that Donald Trump is able to negotiate peace. He promised that within 24 hours. He makes good promises, big promises, because he is at heart he's a politician. At heart he's a very unhealthy man, and he's a very simple man. He's not complicated like Nixon. He has some comparison to Nixon, but he, being corrupt. But he is very simple and not similar, not in that respect, not like Nixon. Nixon was very complicated. Trump is very simple, but he's very much driven by his own needs.
Yeah, Chris Christie says he's a transactional
Correct.
President. He looks at the situation and sees if he can get something personally out of it, and then he's done. He's only thinking
Correct.
about himself.
Correct.
And
that's what he does.
So, we're welcome to the 1890s,
Right.
I mean, we're but we're, we like to think that there's such a thing as America being the shining example or a world leader or the mission of America. And I was in Lithuania 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I've gone on 4 international flights and I haven't spent a single dollar. That just seems to be my MO, And then
How do you do that?
so, my brother paid for 2 of these. The church paid for 1, and the school, through some fundraising, paid for the other one. And
Nice.
UW, University of Wisconsin La Crosse, yeah. And so
Great.
I went there, and they're using the euro.
Sure.
And we all talk about NATO being a huge influence in Europe, but we forget. 10 years ago they created this thing called the euro, or 15 years ago, and this thing is the equivalent of the United States dollar. It's pretty much the same thing as a dollar. And so we've kind of taken over Europe without ever sending troops there.
Sure.
We kind of took the euro has kind of taken over the Europe,
Sure.
and it's democratized those countries, and it's like you go there and it seems like there's everything. There's Taco Bell, KFC. It's kind of like America is everywhere, and we are the dominant culture in the world. And when you see it with your own eyes, you hear it, but when you see it, I encourage everybody to take an international flight, except to Mexico. I can't recommend Mexico. I've heard some brutal things about that country, but I don't know anywhere in the country, in the world. I would say take a look and see what the domination is. I mean, I would say Africa is democratizing, but I don't know if there's any proof of that. But but the euro is used except for the Netherlands and Britain, the euro is used in Europe.
Great.
Yeah. So I would say American influence is everywhere. We're respected around the world, and maybe Donald Trump is making that better or worse. I can't say.
I think he's making it worse because he's going to cause a recession, and I think it's going to be a global recession. And he's going to do that because these massive layoffs are going to create problems in the economy, and I don't know how we'll be able to recover from that.
I just don't know if he can cause a recession. He's just one man with a bunch of ideas.
He has been the president of the United States, Tim, and he has got a lot of power. He's the most powerful man in the world.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I hope he doesn't succeed then,
Yeah, I hope so too.
And we've had a great conversation. Let's recognize that and enjoy our evening,
But enjoy your evening.
Enjoy your evening, Neil.
Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Why don't you sign us off?
Okay, let's sign off here. Thank you, Sue, for engineering the show, and Neil for being my co-host, and everybody have a beautiful Wisconsin night.
Good night.
Signing off. Good night.
Bye-bye.
This again was Blue Collar Crypto, hosted by Tim Trozian and also with Neil Weber. They are on every Sunday evening at 4 o'clock and 5:30 p.m. Central as Blue Collar Crypto with the World of Ability Podcast Network. Join us each week. We have a lineup of shows that happen throughout the week. Be sure to tune in and find out more. Subscribe to our channel, go to YouTube, and we are at Ability Network. Thank you so much. Until next week with Blue Collar Crypto, next Sunday at 4 and 5:30. We'll see you then.